we begin our next session, and we're talking about innovating in fashion, social media, arts, and entrepreneurship. And I'd like to call upon our speakers for this session, Rinku Madan. Are you here with us, Rinku? She's coming. Rebekkah Kumar, Guneet Kaur, Manav Gupta, welcoming Rebekkah on the stage, founder and director at 47 Services Private Limited. Let's give her a warm round of welcome or applause. We have with us Manav Gupta, an eminent artist, thought leader, motivational speaker, founder and creative director at the Art Project. Welcome, Manav. Good morning. And we also welcoming Anita, founder of Conserve India. Welcome, Anita. Thank you for joining us. We have Kirti Kataria, Zina and Zoya. They should be, okay, so as soon as they come, they'll be joining us on the stage. But without any further ado, I'd like to begin this very exciting discussion ahead of us. And I'd like to call on Rebekkah Kumar to get this happening.
Hi, I'm Rebekkah. I am, as you suggested, I'm the founder of 47.com. We are a jewelry venture. It's an e-commerce startup, and we focus on designing, creating, and bringing to life jewelry that is silver and semi-precious stones. And we deliver jewelry that kind of celebrates the beauty in the world around us. And we launched 47 about 3 years ago, and we've kind of come to be a 12-person organization. We were funded about a year and a half ago by the Indian Angel Network. And we now ship across India and in 12 countries around the world. And we've launched 2 stores, one in Ambience Mall in Gurgaon and one in Galleria Market in Gurgaon. So it's been a really great journey. And when Dr. Parveen asked me to come here today, I was thinking, what on earth could I say that would be meaningful? And I think my message is just really simple. It is that life is a journey, and there's really no one end goal that is right for everyone. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm from a state in the US called Kentucky. I am the daughter of an American mother and an immigrant father. But my father came to the US at a time when being different wasn't really the right thing to do. So we didn't learn his native language, we didn't learn about his culture, and we didn't learn about his country. So I had a pretty normal upbringing, and then I went to college, I studied engineering and business, and then I was fortunate enough to get a job in one of the big 3 high-tech companies. I loved my job. It was a great opportunity. I learned a lot. I rose up in management, and after a few years, I decided it wasn't the right thing for me to go deeper in technology. I met my soon-to-be husband, Kumar, an Indian, while I was working there. And he agreed, and so we both left our well-paying jobs and took out student loans and applied for business school. Vinay went to Wharton. Well, first we got married. We came here, got married in Allahabad. Then Vinay went to Wharton, I went to MIT. And 2 years later, we met up again when we joined Microsoft in Washington State, which, if any of you have been there, is one of the most beautiful places in the US. So again, it was just a really lovely place, a lovely part of our journey. I was working in e-commerce. It was the time of the .com uprise in the US, so it was a really fabulous place to be. So it was exceptional for me to be working there. Then, after a couple of years, I had our first child, my son. And I went back to work after he was born. There's a really great infrastructure for daycare there. A couple of years later, I had my daughter. and I went back to work again. Microsoft has a really great program for women, and it's exceptional. Very supportive of working women. But something was missing. I really wanted to spend more time with them. So I left Microsoft, and I decided to stay home with my children. And it was only a few months later that I told Vinay I want to move to India. So step back and understand my reasoning, because everybody asked me, why would you leave the house that you had designed for the children that you wanted to raise? Why would you leave this beautiful job, this beautiful place? And it's because my father passed away when I was in college. I never got to ask the questions that I later in my life wanted to understand. His culture, his language, how it was where he grew up, and I didn't want that for our children. Also for me, as an American who didn't have a second language was always really hard. After all these years, मुझे थोड़ी सी हिंदी आती है, थोड़ी हिंदी नहीं So I didn't want that for my children. I really wanted them to be able to understand the nuances of the language. I can have a conversation at a market, but I don't get the jokes in Hindi films. Everybody's laughing and I don't really get the jokes, right? I wanted them to know their family members in a deeper way than I can get to know them. So that's why we moved here. We immersed them in the culture. I wanted them to feel very, very Indian. And it's been great. What I thought was a 2-year or 4-year plan is now 11 years. We've been here. And I love it. We love it. This is home. But after I had them settled in school, I became a consultant. I loved that, but something was still missing from my life, right? There was something missing in my journey. And I realized that I had given roots to my children. My husband was settled in his career, but I was feeling still like a Ferengi, like I didn't belong, right? So I wanted to shed that cloak. And that's when 4-7 came about. So I took a really selfish decision. What do I love? What did I always want to do but never got to do? And then what am I capable of doing? And where's there a market opportunity? And for me, that was jewelry. The ideation behind creating something that's meaningful, that's not there in the market, celebrating life and doing something that is creative, that was very meaningful to me, and I was very passionate about it. So that's where 4-7 came about. I named the company 4-7 for a very special reason. Does anyone want to venture a guess as to why it's called 4-7? Yeah, she said it's a July 4th independence. So in the US, our independence was 4th of July, which is written 4-7 in India. In the US, it's written 7-4. But it's also India's independence, right, 1947. So I wanted the company to stand for what people should feel when they wear our jewelry. It's about celebrating who you are, what's different about you, what's special about you, your culture, your beliefs, and it's a little part of you, so you should feel very happy and proud of who you are. So today I'm wearing a unity bracelet, which celebrates all religions together in one bracelet. So 4-7 is about a made-in-India jewelry company, and it is helping me to feel very much at home here. So if I bring this all the way back to what is my message, it's a simple one. Yesterday, I was in this room and I listened to this beautiful young woman, Miss Singh. She said that there's scientific evidence that your gut is as intelligent as your brain. And she said to follow your gut. And at every point in my life, though I had this beautiful opportunity that I was living, when I felt something was missing, if I could visualize the positive outcome, then I followed my gut and I put my complete passion behind it. And that's led me here. And this is the first place I felt really at home. So that's my message. If you can envision what you want, there's never a right time or a wrong time. If you can envision it, then you can follow your dreams and you can get there. Thank you.
Thank you, Rebekkah, for sharing your beautiful journey of immersion into India. Yours and your family is so beautiful. Many, many, many more years in India to you. I'd like to invite on stage Triansha Tandan. Welcome, Triansha. She's a certified professional coach and facilitator. We welcome you this morning. Is Rinku here? Rinku Madan? I'd like to call on our moderators for this session, Zina and Zoya, founders of Terrible Twos.
Take it over, girls. Hi everyone. We must introduce ourselves first. I came back from. I'm Zina, by the way. Sorry. That's my better half. My twin
Hi
sister.
everyone. This is Zoya.
Thank you, Dr. Rabin, for having us. This is our second time with the Economic Forum, and I don't feel that there's anything more beautiful than being yourself and liberated and sharing your stories other than a platform like this. And thanks to people like Dr. Harbeen and I call Vinay Uncle. So we have this beautiful platform to share our stories. I came back from college a couple of years ago, and both of us dropped out. Not at the same time. We don't do everything together. And I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I remember my mom telling me that when you were younger, your friends always had an idea what they wanted to do in life. Somebody wanted to be a designer, somebody wanted to be a doctor or whatever, right? And when somebody would ask us, what do both of you want to do? We would say nothing. We would say we don't want to be anything when we grow up. And my mom used to be so embarrassed. Then can you be creative? Can you say something? And you want to be a dancer, you want to be a singer, something. And we would just sit blank and smile, you know. So when I came back from college, I had exactly that feeling that I don't want to be anything in life. Until my sister came up to me and said, listen, I think we should do something together. The digital world is getting very strong. We have a lot of creative ideas. We had shot for a few magazines when we were 18, being twins, it was easy, I guess. And no talent required there. But at 22, 23, she came up to me and said, we need to start this blog, you know, and you can write, we can shoot, we can create sets, we can collaborate with designers and models. And I said, I can't model, I'm sorry. I can't I'm not judging a model. I think it takes a lot to stand up and endorse a brand. I've been doing it for 3 years now. And it's not easy. It's difficult, but it's also, it's very challenging in a country like India. But it's taught me a lot and a lot of respect about all sorts of business out there without just judging a magazine by its cover. So we've been doing this blog for 3 years now, which we've turned into a lifestyle and a fashion portal now, where we curate events, curate brands, and simultaneously we run a mental health group, at least my sister does. It's a therapy group for eating disorder, people going through eating disorders, and it's taken her a lot to come out with it in public. And that's where the digital media, I think, played a strong role for us. In terms of our work, yes, fashion is great, it looks beautiful, it's easy access to something through Instagram and Facebook. But her story was only shared on a digital platform to reach that kind of a mass. It was judged at first, people didn't understand that, at least people we knew who we grew up with, that somebody so close to them is coming out with an eating disorder in a public platform. And to share that, I think it took a lot of guts. We all were scared for her, but here she is right next to me. And I won't have it any other way.
Thank you, Dr. Harbeen, for having us again, second time this year, and it's an honor to be here talking and being amongst all of you lovely people here. It's taken us a lot to reach here, and when Dr. Harbeen invited us again and to host this session, I wanted to be able to give my story out, not in terms of what I've achieved as a person, but what other people are also achieving through digital media and fashion. Whether it's a career, whether it's telling a story, it's expressing themselves in a lot of ways that we find difficult to do otherwise. Whether it's expressing your art, your poetry, your business, I think it's really taken a different toll on today's world and generation, that how we're so tuned to going on our phones all the time, and even making businesses across the world just clicking on a button, how technology is advanced. And I mean, it has negative and positive effects to it, and which is why we being in it, our faces are on social media everywhere. And to be able to see myself displayed on a magazine or a blog, it affects me in a positive and a negative way. Sometimes I have bad days, I don't want to look at my picture, but it's everywhere, everybody's commenting. And but it's my business. I have to put on a brave face and do it every day. It's something I signed up for. Years ago, when my sister was not ready for this digital world, I saw Facebook coming up, Instagram coming up, and Snapchat. There were these little tools on our phones, and which we thought were exciting at first, but they seemed alien to us. It seemed challenging, but then I saw what Facebook was doing. It was connecting people across the world, and people were making businesses on it. And then it moved to Instagram, and then I thought maybe I can do this, sitting at home. I don't want to see my picture on maybe a magazine or like actually modeling for real, but maybe if I do something that is created on digitally, it can have some effect. And when I went through the eating disorder a few years ago, and with depression and anxiety, I didn't have any platform to express myself, and if I did, I was judged. So what I have come up with terrible tools is to express myself in a manner that I feel I can relate to people without hurting them. Whether it's touching a topic which is depression, and which is shown through fashion or shown through arts. It's touching topics that are very real and relatable to us. And again, I'm going to thank Dr. Habeen for having me here and be doing this again. And we have wonderful speakers today who are innovating in digital and fashion and arts today. So we invite,
Can we have Triansha, please? Love to hear what you have to say and your story.
I'd also call on stage to join us Rinku Madan. Hi Rinku, welcome. She's the former editor of Times Nightlife Guide for Times of India. Triansha, over to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would first like to thank the Women's Economic Forum, All Ladies League, especially Dr. Arora, and the people who nominated me for this event. I'm also grateful for the opportunity to participate in this forum with all of you. To be amongst my peers and share energy and ideas with each other, suffice to say that this is an event and memory that I will remember for a very long time. As a coach and facilitator for communication, behavioral skills, and personal transformation, and Zina and Zoya, I think my story is more about entrepreneurship than arts and passion, but I'd love to learn from you. I have had the good fortune and opportunity for more than a decade to work with enviably successful people from many walks of life, like McKinsey and Company, where I spent my formative years. In supporting my clients in their journeys of self-renewal and while helping them explore their inner selves and relationships, I have come to three important realizations. One, that as much as I facilitate the process of self-discovery for people, it is also an endless and joyous process of self-discovery for myself. Like just this morning, I was sitting there and listening to the stories, and I'm walking away with something from each story. I connected to each story that I heard. It was what prompted me to find my place as an independent consulting. The belief that following my true passion will lead to that elusive gift, happiness. This has kind of led me to my second realization, that I am irrevocably and indubitably made of the same fabric as everyone else. I am just like everyone. I am just like so many other women, like my mother. I'm a mother too, like my friends. I want connection and love, like my colleagues and I'm in search of aims and goals. Like my mentors, I seek to help others, and like many of you, I'm in search of a cause greater than myself. Like the causes I see being supported by so many women. Malala Yousafzai, Herta Muller, Wangari Maathai. I read their stories and I get touched. That brings me to my third and final realization, one echoed by J.K. Rowling in a Harvard commencement speech. It's a really good speech when I heard it. When she quoted Plutarch, she said, "What we achieve inwardly will change outer reality." Rowling went on to say that that is an astonishing statement, and yet proven 1,000 times, every day of our lives. It expresses, in part, our inescapable connection with the outside world. The fact that we touch other people's lives simply by existing. Because we're all so intricately connected through a myriad tapestry of energy and human relations, the more we give unto ourselves and our transformational journey, starting right within, my own transformational journey that started a few years ago. It is through this network, much wider than those we consider our closest. Our mother, although I'm just like my mother. So I connected to the stories about various people's mothers. And yes, my mom was an exceptional woman. Our friends, our colleagues or mentors, that we touch our own reality every day. And courageously shape reality for others. I'm shaping the reality for my daughter right now. You all realize this too. Isn't that why we are here today? To share hope of living lives that are not just good, but exceptional. And lives that are woven together with the thread of sameness. Isn't that an empowering thought? That we are all the same. I accept your kindness as our common celebration of women's unstoppable spirit of constant self-transformation. Thank you for touching each other's lives right now, and mine today. If I ever play a role in your transformation, I will consider it both a blessing and a privilege. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Have a great day.